First of all, thank you guys for joining in. Um, this is going to be a fairly short meeting, just to get you guys familiar, with the club and get an idea of what we have planned for the semester. If you haven't already, be sure to sign in by scanning the QR code there. Um, but yeah, I think we can just get started here. Um, so first off, I want to announce that, we have a new website. You can check it out at sjuacm.com. Let me actually just show you guys here, guys, a tour of it. So you can join our mailing list by clicking there. You can like see the pictures for, you can see the pictures there of our meetings and stuff like that. Kind of see all the stuff here. A lot of you guys might be confused about, what ACM means or like what, why we're named that way. But that's because we're a student chapter of the Association for Computing Machinery. That's what ACM stands for. Basically, they're an international organization that, looks to promote the study of computer science and, yearns to, advance computer science as a science and a profession. So that's pretty much why we're named that way. If I can go back to, hold on. Gotta hide the WebEx thing. All right. So yeah, you can read more about, our club here, join our Discord, follow us on Instagram, check out our YouTube and GitHub there. Just some more general information about the club. But I think the main, value add of the website is the meetings page. So here you can see, you can check out all the slides and the code for all our past meetings, dating back to fall 2020. All the slides are there. You can, filter by semester. Spring 2021, we had these ones. Fall 2020, it was all virtual, so we recorded all our meetings then. You can see, put out a ton of content here. Um, Definitely check that out. Fall 2021, we had all in-person meetings. Run the source code. This takes you to a Google Colab where you can, run all the code here. I'm not gonna run it now, but basically all the code here is, for you to see, and you can run it all, on your own free time and kind of understand how everything works. Um, Other than that, you can check out our e-board, read more about us, our work experience. You said you
I
only
don't mean to cut you off, but I think you're sharing the team screen, and we're not seeing the website.
oh,
Yeah, it's only the front page of it.
okay, that's my fault. Yeah, I'm
Alright,
not
good.
sharing Google Chrome, that's why. Oh wait. Okay. All right, you guys see the website now?
Yeah, you're good now.
All right. So yeah, like I was saying, you can read more about us in here, the About section. We're named ACM Student Chapter because we're part of the Association for Computing Machinery. You can click this link here to learn more about them. And, I just talked about the meetings. In terms of the e-board, you can read more about us here, kind of see the work experience we have, connect with us on LinkedIn, send us an email or anything. These are our past members and, they're all working at Go Places now. So, reach out to them as well. Um, Check out our resources. These are like really good things you guys should definitely check out. Especially these two here. This one is called Forage. Basically, it's just like a really short kind of like project that you get from like a company. I actually did one from JP Morgan last year where I actually built like a whole web app using like their technology, and it's a very good experience. I have it on my resume. And because of that, I'm pretty sure, I got a lot more interviews. Just having that on my resume. Definitely check out this one too, Levels at FYI. It's probably the best website to look through for any kind of data on salaries for like top tech companies. Most of you probably be surprised at how much these companies pay. you know, like software engineers or stuff like that. Definitely check out these YouTube channels too. I actually watch, this is my favorite one, Fireship. He teaches you how to build like you know, like web apps or like mobile apps like really fast. It's, you know, short tutorials like 10 to 15 minutes. And there's a lot of like very interesting stuff that he does, you know, like how to buy stocks with JavaScript, you know, command line games, stuff like that. There's so much stuff that he does, so definitely check that out. Free Code Camp, they have like thousands of tutorials um on all sorts of stuff, so definitely check that out. I've learned a lot from them in terms of like interview prep and stuff like that as well. Clement and Bacola, I actually watch these two pretty regularly. So you know, Clement, he was a software engineer at Google and Facebook, and you know, you can learn a lot about, you know, his experiences, you know, working in tech and stuff like that. He also runs like a whole business now, and he has videos on how it's like, you know, starting a business, you know, running a website and stuff like that. It's very interesting. Definitely check that out. And Bacola is also a software engineer and she works at Google. So she gives a lot of tips and advice on, you know, how to break into tech and stuff like that. So definitely check that out. I also wanted to mention that, um, oh yeah, I'll be updating like this resources page throughout the semester. I'll add in like, you know, more stuff here, so definitely keep an eye on it. I did want to also mention that, you know, the website is completely open source. This was something I worked on over the break, and you can check out all the code here. It's made with the React JS, which is one of the most popular JavaScript frameworks. Um, if you go on like most like software engineering jobs, like engineering job postings, a lot of them will require you to have experience in React or some kind of familiarity with React, or like a JavaScript framework. And you know, having experience with React is really going to open up like the possibilities of you, you know, getting a job in that area. So I highly recommend, you know, like looking through the source code for the website, kind of like reverse engineering, you know, how things work and stuff like that. Um, I think I really want to emphasize like, you know, for those of you doing computer science, you know, you should really know how to navigate GitHub and Git, you know, especially you want to be a software engineer or, you know, work on any kind of code for your job. You're gonna be using these two tools, you know, like on a daily basis. So let me actually give you guys an example here of how useful GitHub is. So let's say you're working on a website, you know, on like a personal website, right, for your own thing. So let's say you wanted to add in like a footer to your website. So like the stuff here, you know, all the icons here, the copyright text. Let's say you wanted to add that. What you can do is literally just search a footer here, and it'll show you where in the repository um is there code relating to the footer. So this is literally the code for the footer here. You know, you can see your like the icon, the Instagram icon, Discord icon, YouTube, GitHub, and then you can see here where it links to, stuff like that. So that is that you can literally take this code and use it as like a template for your own website. Um and you should definitely, you know, like use GitHub, you know, for hosting like your personal projects. Um, I know when applying to a lot of companies, they actually ask for a link to your GitHub. So you don't want to have, so you definitely want to have something there to show. If you don't have anything on your GitHub, it might honestly hurt your chances of getting in. Um, so yeah, back to the slides. Um, yeah, so I just wanted to go over some of our upcoming meetings. The one we have planned for next week is actually a DOS lab, which Tom will tell you guys a bit about. Tom's here.
Yeah, so it's gonna be pretty cool. Like definitely gonna, you know, since we're now back in person, like we can get back to the hands-on style of labs. So everyone's gonna be able to hop on a machine and load up the VMs and basically host a virtual switch and then attack it with a different VM running Kali Linux, and you'll be able to see it completely like get taken down. And doing that type of like hands-on actual like practice with these type of you know, like methods and within cybersecurity for me was definitely the biggest thing that's helped me just kind of gain a better understanding and like just add more things to the toolkit. So this is going to be the first of many this semester, where I'll be, kind of doing many cybersecurity meetings of similar type of things. We'll be doing pen testing, running rats, keyloggers, web exploitation, all kinds of stuff. So by the end of that, you'll be very familiar with Kali Linux and have some really good hands-on experience that you will be able to use on your resume.
Yeah, that's great. And also in like a couple weeks, you're going to be having a meeting on AI and machine learning. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while. In that meeting, I'll be going over, what machine learning is. It's a big buzzword now, but I don't think people understand what it actually means. Um, so I'll be going over, how machine learning is used in the real world. I'm going to be kind of digging deep into TikTok specifically because their For You page, for those of you who have TikTok, you probably know it's probably the best and most sophisticated social media algorithm. It's probably one of the most addicting things in the world. And, I'm going to be talking about how TikTok, leverages your data to find out what your interests are and, how the For You page is kind of like populated with videos, like what that process involves. Um, I'm also going to be hosting a lab as part of that meeting where I go over step by step how to make a machine learning model to detect breast cancer with 97% accuracy in just around 30 lines of code. And 97% accuracy is much more accurate than any doctor. And machine learning is really revolutionizing the like biology and medicine. It's opening up a whole world of possibilities. So you definitely don't want to miss that meeting. Um, Another meeting I had planned is how to make and deploy your own personal website. So having your own personal website on your own custom domain is very important. We're in such a competitive field that you have to have something like a personal website to stand out. So in this meeting we'll be coding in HTML and CSS, and then we're actually gonna be deploying it on something called Netlify, and which is what I'm using to host the club website. It's going to be completely free to do all this unless you want to buy your own custom domain. So if you want your domain to be yourname.com, you're gonna have to pay like some amount of money. It won't be that expensive, maybe like $10 a year. You can get it pretty cheap, but by the end of that meeting, you all will have a personal website ready to go. You'll be able to send a link to your friends and they'll be able to, check it out. And, you can use that link when applying to jobs. It's going to be really helpful moving forward. That'll be your place on the internet, your own website. Um, Another meeting we have planned is on NFTs and blockchains. And, this is definitely a very hot topic right now. And I'm personally, getting into the NFT space myself. There's a ton to learn about, and I think it's very important to know about because, whether you like NFTs or not, they're here to stay. And, there's so many things you can do with them. It's going to be a huge thing, especially with the metaverse. So in that meeting we'll be going over all of that, so you don't want to miss out. And we're also going to be having an alumni event, similar to what we had last semester. So we'll be trying to get in touch with alumni who work in tech, as a software engineer or cyber analyst or anything. We'll be bringing them on. We'll let you guys ask questions or anything, and ask what kind of tips they have for breaking into tech and stuff like that. Um, yeah, now I want to pass it on to Jake. He's actually a cybersecurity major, but he recently got very interested in machine learning, and I think you guys will find it pretty interesting what he did for his project. So I'll let Jake take over now.
All right. So yeah, so basically I am a big baseball fan and I'm always looking to apply the things that I learn in school to things that I really enjoy. So I came up with an idea to create a machine learning model that is able to basically identify what MLB or baseball pitch is being thrown based on just the velocity of the pitch and the movement of the pitch. And if you guys aren't familiar with like pitches, right here on the right, it kind of shows you that there's a bunch of different types of pitches, and they each have different speeds. So you see the four seam kind of moves the fastest, and then you have curveballs move slower, and then they each move in different directions. So basically, I just taught this model with kind of the data on the bottom over there. And it basically just teaches the model the different speeds and different movements of all of the different types of pitches. And then so it's able to learn all the patterns through all that data. And then in the future, when you want to have it predict a pitch that's being thrown, all you have to do is give it the movement and give it the speed, and it's able to give you a pretty accurate estimation on what pitch is being thrown. So I thought this was pretty cool because if you watch baseball games nowadays, on the score bug, they actually show you the pitch that was thrown. So if the pitcher throws a fastball, it'll show, four-seam fastball was thrown. Or if a curveball was thrown, it'll say curveball was thrown. And this is all done through machine learning. They completely constructed, I think they use neural networks, actually, MLB, to actually predict the pitch, or actually identify what pitch is being thrown and then display it on the screen right there. So, this is just one example of kind of a realistic use of machine learning in the real world. Yeah, obviously, machine learning is a really big, up and coming thing that a lot of people, that really, frankly, everyone should start to learn. And yeah, there's just so many applications for it, even in sports. I'm sure you could figure something out with football, basketball. But yeah, I thought this was really cool. Just a kind of an example of how you can apply these things that you learn to things that you personally enjoy. So.
Right. And that's awesome, man. I like what you said, how, this is where machine learning can be applied, in the real world. And I also wanted to say that, Jake was able to do all this basically, by learning on his own. I think that's very important because, if you want to be a successful, engineer, software engineer, stuff like that, or even like a cyber analyst or engineer, you have to be constantly learning new things. You have to be constantly picking up new skills, learning new technologies, because the industry is evolving so fast, right? So it's, you can easily fall behind if you're not learning new things and stuff like that. So I think this is great. So, Jay, can you talk a bit about, how you went about, working on the project? Like, did you follow any tutorials, or how'd you end up actually coding the project?
Well, learning about machine learning, literally just a bunch of YouTube videos and a bunch of Google searches. It just comes up with a bunch of articles and all that stuff that kind of gets you started with it. And then so basically I got the idea kind of that, you can obviously kind of identify what pitch is being thrown based on these stats right here. So I went to a website. It's called Baseball Savant. It has a bunch of these types of stats. They call it kind of sabermetric stats, which is really detailed stats about even the movement of the ball and everything. And I just kind of, they have a feature where you can download a CSV of basically whatever stats you want. And I was able to get that CSV file. You plug it into the kind of template. Literally, there's a million templates out there. There's also a bunch of different models that you can use. There's neural networks, there's decision tree classifiers. I think for this one I used the random forest classifier. But there's a bunch of different models. I kind of just tested with the different models. And yeah, you literally just plug it into the template. I have the code, the link is on there. Literally, just you can use that template plugin, like whatever data set you really want. Decide what stats you want to teach the model, and then it'll be able to just make predictions based on that. So it's really not difficult at all. Just, I guess my recommendation is just do a little bit of research, watch some YouTube videos, and look at other people's code too. I took some inspiration from Faison, obviously, from a lot of the work that he's done. So just looking at his code, kind of seeing what I can do with that to kind of, you know, remix it, maybe use a little bit of it as a template for what I'm doing. But yeah, I think that's another big thing is learning from other people. And just you can literally put in a search on GitHub also for any project you're trying to do, and it's going to come up with so many people who have probably done it, and it'll give you kind of a template and an idea for what direction you want to go in.
Right. And kind of going off Jake's point there, I really want to stress on the point that he said, you know, learn from other people's code, because and this goes back to, you know, knowing how to utilize GitHub and stuff like that, because the idea is that you can find code on like how to do anything on GitHub, right? And a lot of the best way I've learned, you know, how to code and stuff like that is by looking at other people's code. You know, especially when making the website for the club, I was looking at other GitHub repos for websites. I was seeing how they implement like a drop down menu, you know, how did they implement a nav bar, a footer, stuff like that. And I basically, you know, reverse engineered how stuff like that works. I implemented it into, you know, the club website. So, you know, I think that's very important to, you know, be able to understand other people's code. Definitely probably the best skill to have, you know, if you're trying to get into like, you know, software engineering. But yeah, I also had like my own project to share, something else I worked on over the break. So I'm actually really into, you know, investing and the stock market. And so what I did is I made a web app where you can do all sorts of analysis on different stocks and sectors in the stock market. This is a screen recording I have here. So one of the things you can do with the web app is so right here I was analyzing Apple, so Apple stock specifically, and you can see here that I wanted to see how profitable it is compared to other stocks in the technology sector. So you can see here that oh wait, I don't know why this is playing. You can see here that Apple's profit margin is 25.9, and when compared to other stocks in the tech sector, that's actually a very high value. You can see here like it highlights these two bins here. So that means that, you know, most of the companies in the tech sector, they have a profit margin of like around like 10 or even less than 10. So 25.9, that puts it in like the very high percentile. And you know, this is probably confusing for those of you who probably don't know about like stocks and stuff like that. But basically, this is actually what I use myself for picking like what stocks to invest in, because there's a lot of other stuff there that I didn't show, but basically um this is what I use for like doing all kinds of analysis. And like right here I put in Tesla. So for Tesla, I have like my own algorithm that gives like each stock like a rating out of 100, and it rated Tesla 63. And you know, that's pretty, I guess, average for companies in the consumer cyclical sector. So you know, this is like all the code right here is actually written in Python. Um, and this is again like what I said about like continue to learn like new things and stuff like that, because usually to make a web app like this, you would have to learn like JavaScript and stuff like that. But all the code is actually in Python. I'm using a library called Streamlit, which allows us to, you know, easily make like graphs and charts and stuff like this on a website. And I'll send out the code after the meeting is done. But this is all possible through that library called Streamlit. Um, so yeah, I think just had some general tips here So definitely have a updated a LinkedIn profile, because this is something that companies actually check. And especially have a resume ready. I think we're gonna have a career fair at St. John's sometime next month or something. So you definitely want to bring multiple copies of your resume there. Um, One key tip I would say is to add in as many keywords as possible to your resume. That's why I say work on personal projects, because by adding those projects to your resume, you have an opportunity to add keywords to your resume. So, if you go on a job posting and it says, familiar with React and like front end development and, let's say like PHP or Python or whatever, those projects, when you added them to your resume, you should be adding like a description of what technologies you use or what the project actually does, and that allows you to add in those keywords that you need to honestly get through the first screening process. Because if you don't have the right keywords, you won't even get an interview. So definitely focus on those things, and like I said, get familiar with GitHub, probably the my favorite resource. And again, like, learn outside the classroom. There's so many things to learn about that are not really taught in classes. So that's important, and utilize the resources we had, because that'll help you learn those things that you need. And lastly, like, reach out to us, because we're here to help you guys. And the industry is super competitive, so we can offer some kind of advice and stuff like that. And like, try to make yourselves known. Definitely introduce yourself to us, because to succeed in like the corporate world and stuff like that, you have to be outgoing and kind of get yourself out there. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. um and lastly, so if you guys have any questions or ideas for meetings you have, you can like unmute or even like send it in the chat. Be happy to hear what you guys think. Um, but other than that, this is kind of all we have planned for the meeting. I didn't have this to share, so there's this TTF going on at Yeshiva University. That's gonna be Friday. It's gonna start Friday, February 4th. And you can sign up through that link. I sent this link in our Discord already. So definitely check that out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And like Tom said, we'll have that meeting in the Cyber Lab next week on the DOS. There's gonna be a lab on the DOS attack. So definitely hope to see you guys there. And when are the club meetings? So there is gonna be Thursday's common hour. So 2 to 3 p.m. So same time that we started now. It's gonna be in person though next week in the cybersecurity lab. That second floor is St. Augustine. I can let you know more details if you're not sure where that is. So Thursdays 2 to 3 p.m. Not every Thursday. So just follow it. Like, stay in touch with like our Discord, because we don't have meetings every Thursday, but I would say most Thursdays we do. So next week we'll have the Cyber Lab, but I think the week after that we're not gonna have anything. The following week we'll have the meeting on AI machine learning. So just stay in touch with the Discord and like the Instagram. I think you guys are also on the mailing list, so just like stay updated through that. But yeah, we'll let you know like whenever the meetings are. We announce that on the Discord and Instagram. So yeah. Yeah, everything will be beginner friendly. This is something I wanted to ensure, because especially the meeting on AI machine learning, that's a pretty advanced topic. So I have like everything prepared on like how to explain it, in a very simple way. And the lab that we're going to do for that, I have like a lot of like comments in the code that you'll be able to understand like throughout the whole thing. So it definitely is beginner friendly, but other like you learn a lot even though it's kind of like that. The thing with computer science, and I'll say this, is that computer science doesn't get interesting, in my opinion, until you get up to like, the advanced topics like machine learning. Because that's something that's actually applied in the real world, and but it is very complicated to understand, and I try to do my best to make it simple to understand. But yeah, I don't think you'll have a problem understanding that. I think everything will be laid out in a way that's simple. So don't worry
Yeah,
about
and
that.
for the cyber labs, like I always make sure that we go step by step. So I mean, when I first started coming to these meetings, it was like literally first semester freshman year, and I had like some familiarity, but I didn't have as much hands-on experience. So all the labs like will kind of like go through like all together by step, so that everyone like is able to kind of follow along. And it's not as like complicated as it might seem at first, but it'll just be like a few like different commands you have to enter, and then at the end like we'll talk about like why it actually works. So a lot of the labs when I was first starting to come, I was like doing them, and then we'd like accomplish like whatever it was, and then by the end I was like, if I was to do that again like by myself, without it being just in recent memory, like I definitely wouldn't be able to. So I would like kind of take notes after, and like that would help me kind of remember. But the more you get familiar with the command line, it just makes it a lot easier for the cyber side of things. But yeah, even like anybody with just like the most beginner level of knowledge will definitely be able to follow along and learn that much more because of it.